Assalamu alaikum. When Italians self-isolating during the COVID-19 outbreak were presented with a hypothetical situation in which orders to remain at home would be for shorter periods than they had expected, they were presently surprised and said they would be more willing to stay in isolation. But people negatively surprised to hear that the hypothetical extension of the orders would be for longer than they had anticipated, said they would be less willing to maintain or increase their isolation. These findings from a new study co-authored by Johns Hopkins University economist Mario Marquez sheds a new light on people's willingness to self-isolate. He said, the study, a working paper produced for the National Bureau of Economic Research, also highlights the importance of effective communication of stay-at-home orders by public officials. For more information about the paper and its findings, Mack spoke with the Carey Business School about the current U.S. social distancing policies, the psychological effect of long-term isolation, and whether it is wise for officials to issue deadlines or dates when normal activities can resume. The first question from Mario Makis was this: was the main finding of the study surprising to you at all? He replied, for this question, more than surprising, it was eye-opening. When stay-at-home orders were extended longer than expected, people become less willing to increase and more likely to decrease self-isolation efforts. The results were stronger for individuals who were already fully complying with the recommended self-isolation measures, which includes not leaving the house except for emergencies. This was the eye-opening part. The efforts of compliant individuals should not be taken for granted. Second question from Mario Marcus was, how would you evaluate U.S. social distancing policies to date at the both federal and state level? For this question, Marcus replied, we are way past a situation with few isolated outbreaks, and I think authorities are becoming more and more aware that the responses requires coordinated efforts that go beyond single communities and states. I was glad to see that in spite of a lack of nationwide standards, the governors of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut quickly coordinated their actions and adopted a uniform approach to social distancing. Today, at least 30 states have stay-at-home orders in place, and that is a good thing. This is one of the important questions asked from Mario Marquez. Is it a wise approach to set any kind of all-clear time, whether it is Easter or midsummer or next spring? Should government leaders leave the date open-ended? For this question, Mario Marquez replied, our study shows that negative surprises can jeopardize compliances with social distancing measures. The epidemic is severe, and there is fundamental uncertainty about how long these measures would need to stay in place to be effective. Therefore, a prudent approach would require making people aware that this could be a protracted effort. This does not mean leaving the date open-ended, but just transparently communicating that people should get ready for a prolonged self-isolation period. Emphasizing that the measures will end by a certain date might generate falsely optimistic expectations, which might then translate into disappointment when the measures are extended. Next question from Mario Makis was, were strong enforcement policies such as fines and geo-tracking effective in Italy? Do you think they would work in the US? Marcus replied, strong enforcement policies such as fine for transgressor can be important signals. Italy and many US states and cities are using them to reinforce the message that people need to stay home. However, it is unclear that compliances can be achieved with fines alone. Plus, monitoring and enforcement are costly. There is a law for communication, persuasion, and expectation management. Last question from Marcus was, some people argue that the price of long-term self-isolation is made more costly by the negative psychological impact on individuals. Is there a reasonable way to balance these concerns, or is the negative psychological impact part of collateral damage of taming the pandemic? Marcus replied, yes, self-isolation is costly, both economically and psychologically. We can enact policies to mitigate those costs, but it is unclear that the epidemic made everybody worse off. The findings from studies that fully compliant individuals might reduce their efforts if the restrictions are extended for longer than expected highlights that social isolation fatigue might indeed be at play. This is one reason why managing expectation is so important. I think that's enough for today to know correct about about coronavirus is many more to come in next videos. And to get the notifications for that precious informational and educational videos of coronavirus, you need to smash the subscriber button and then click the bell icon to get it in notification icon. So you will have to wait, and till then, take good care of yourself and your loved ones by staying in home. Yes, stay safe by staying in home.